Good. Let's talk. How many ideas are introduced in the main conclusion here?
4, 3.
Okay, I saw 4. Maybe there's 5. Let's take a look. I saw. Oh yeah, maybe 5. I guess it depends on how. They didn't. Did they talk about snowpack? They didn't talk about that. So the first one, what'd you see?
Snowpack, melt.
Okay, melt more rapidly. That's definitely one.
Earlier in the season.
Earlier in the season, number 2.
Great spring flooding.
Greater spring flooding.
Less storable water.
Less storable water. Those 4 things were never discussed in the premises, right? You could say the mountain snowpack. Was that the other thing? Christina, what was the 5th thing that you saw?
Meet summer demands. Is that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could wrap that in there.
Water, but it could be to not meet.
Yeah, sure. That all of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. All of this stuff was not discussed in the. This is a horrible conclusion, right? Thank you for coming out of nowhere. I mean, it seems somewhat related, but why? Oh yeah, let's start with A. Answer choice A. Is this a premise? How many people say yes? It's just restating a premise. Well, you can't look around to other people to make a decision. You must commit. How many people say it's not restating a premise? Okay, there seems to be more people saying it's not. So we'll let the smaller group defend itself.
I just thought it was restating a premise.
Yeah, okay, there's nothing else to say there. Okay, how about the group that thinks it's not? Andrew?
It talks about precipitation as a whole, but not whether or not it's rain versus snow.
Okay, and so, yeah, that's exactly right. It talks about it as a whole, not versus, as opposed to rain versus snow. And what else is it adding?
Coming century.
Over, yeah, the time frame over the coming century.
Over the coming century is how it's.
Over the coming century is in the original. John, the defender of the original theory. So that part is the same. Yeah, Sean?
Well, so what I was unclear about is if in the Rocky Mountains, so the precipitation is happening in the Rocky Mountains in A, whereas like I inferred from the passage that this temperature increase in the Rocky Mountains would cause precipitation in the mountains, but like I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I think it is in the Rocky Mountains because I think the second sentence is referring back to the first. Yeah. So okay, that's the same. Who's got this? Molly?
Substantial increase.
Yes. Okay. So I think this is Andrea. What you were getting at, right? They were talking about the whole, and the original was talking about the 2 different, like the ratios of that whole. But this is saying that the whole actually increased, and we don't know if the whole actually increased in the original passage. Sound good? These are just logical terms that they like to test status, right? Change in percentage versus whole changing. Okay. So A is not a restatement of a premise, but it's still wrong because who cares?
Anything.
Yeah, we still have 5 or 4 things in the conclusion that were never discussed, and so we're scratching our heads. Okay, answer choice B. What is the best reason that B is better than C? This is tough.
Covers more of the conclusion or more?
That's really the second reason. So yes, answer choice B covers more things, right? It covers greater spring flooding and less storable water, whereas answer choice C only discusses less storable water. So answer choice C is worse for that reason, but I would really say that's a secondary reason. Yeah, Andrew.
B talks about how the melting of snowpacks leads to less storable water and greater spring flooding, whereas C just talks about less storable water without a cause of that.
Yeah, okay. So it leaves out the whole snowpacks thing and what's causing it. It just says there is less storable water. We don't know what, right? Okay, that's part of the reason. Yes?
I mean, it's going right in the right direction. Like B is talking about the scenario that the passage is talking about, where if you have the melting, it leads to greater flooding, yada yada. Whereas C is talking about the opposite of that. So if the winters are mild, maybe not. Maybe
No, sorry, Sean. Good thought. Yeah, Wendy.
Also, wouldn't C be wrong because of in the areas of the Rocky Mountains?
Yes. What's the problem here?
Because maybe there's like certain areas in the Rocky Mountains that are more that have a characteristic that in other areas don't.
Yes.
Because areas
Yes.
are the problem.
Yes. This is the problem. This is a part the whole problem.
Okay.
So answer choice B. What answer choice B does is it says, look, we have the Rocky Mountains, and we have some other mountain regions, other mountains. Sound good? And when the temperature goes down or up, I should say, the temperature goes up in the other mountain regions, then we see this phenomenon happening, right? We see less storable water, what was it? Greater spring flooding and so on, okay? And so you come over here to the Rocky Mountains, you say, wow, if the temperature goes up here, we might see the same result, right? But what they're doing in answer choice C is they're taking apart, let's just split this in half. They're saying, hey, by the way, this part is colder and this part is warmer, and we see less storable water over here, right? In the areas in which the winters are relatively mild, there is less storable water to meet summer demands. So what you've done is you're comparing two things, and the cause of that may be something about the fact that the mountain, where it is, right? Like, there may be less water here because it's lower or has a lower altitude and because it's warmer, but we don't know that for sure. It could be some other reason, right? Or there could be like a third, the fact that it's lower is making it warmer and have less storable water, right? There could be another cause. So this is like comparing apples to apples. This is comparing apples and oranges. Yeah.
So we can't assume that global warming is the cause of the melting, or the.
In answer choice C, we have no idea, and this is what Andrew was alluding to. It says there is less storable water. It doesn't say why.
But it says, but it says we're kind of assuming that it's because the winters are warmer, relatively mild.
Yes.
And I assume that's because there's global warming.
Oh, well, sure. All we know, though, is that it's more mild.
Mm-hmm.
All we know is that it's warmer. We don't know if that's because of global warming, but even if it is, this is a correlation. Like, one way to think about this is a correlation, but because we're taking two different parts of the mountain and comparing it, that's much different than just looking at the mountain as a whole and saying, hey, when it got warmer, then we had less storable water. How do you guys feel about this? Christina? Yeah.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
to me, it sounds like in why you're describing part C or answer C is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that the two parts of the mountain
Mhm.
vary, but couldn't you also assume similarly in answer B that the Rocky Mountains and the other mountains will similarly vary?
Oh, you certainly could. There's that problem, right?
Right.
There is this problem, but you are looking at the mountain as a whole, and you're saying the temperature went up, and then we saw this change. Here, we're just looking at places that are relatively warmer, and places that are relatively colder. There's no temperature change, right? It just says in the areas in which the winters are relatively mild. So we're taking a particular part of the mountain and we're going over to that part. It's not like anything has changed. Right? That's different than saying, hey, let's look at this. First of all, we're only looking at a part of the mountain. But if we looked at part of the mountain and the temperature went up, and then we saw less storable water, you'd say, there's a correlation between those two things. This area is warmer than this area.
Okay.
It's not like there was a change in temperature. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference in temperatures, but it's not like, it's like it could be this way forever. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so we don't know, like, was it it would be a lot different if they took part of the mountain and they said, okay, well, it got warmer and then we had less storable water.
Okay.
Then you could say, oh, there's definitely a correlation there.
That makes sense.
But right now it's just like, well, is that because of something else?
Yeah.
Okay. Jean.
Is it significant that the climatologist's argument specific to the Rocky Mountains and B's just talking about other mountainous regions and not the Rocky Mountains?
Yeah, so that's a reason answer choice C is would be better if you just focused in on those two things. Like, oh, hey, we're talking about the Rocky Mountains. The problem is they talked about these problems that we've been talking about. Like, these are much bigger problems. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of why I had the opposite thinking on that. I think that part of why B was correct was because it was adding to the argument by comparing it to other regions. while C like was so specific, that's like, oh, it's the same comparison to the point of where it's not really adding to the argument.
Well,
It's like Rocky
I
Mountains
think
are the
I think
same.
I think C would actually, if we fix the problems that we just talked about and we
It's
made
stronger.
C like B, but
Okay.
we put in Rocky Mountains, I think it would
That's
still be
stronger.
better, because what we'd be saying is, in the past, when things have gotten warmer, we had less storable water. That's like, oh, that's happened in the Rocky Mountains before, probably gonna happen now with global warming.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Are we cool with that? That's those are the two toughest answers. Yeah.
Is one of the issues with D that it's not talking about mountain regions, it's just talking about regions of the world? One of. It's also not
Yes.
addressing.
It's doing the exact same problem. It's not talking about a change in temperature. It's just talking about, hey, this place is more mild and this place is colder, and look, they have less storable water. Is that because of the temperature or something else?
I was thinking more of the world, so it's better. It was covering more of an area.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Jerry.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I
Regrettably.
thought I understood it, but can you explain where the change in temperature is in B?
After relatively mild winters. So relatively mild winters would be compared to previous winters.
Got it. Okay.
Whereas this is just talking about areas in which winters are relatively mild compared to other areas in which they are not.
Got it.
Yeah. Fun stuff, huh? Okay. Any other questions on this one? Okay.